Welcome to episode 18 of our podcast. Today is on Blue, Jack, and Stewart, the main characters of Rodgers that I haven't covered so far, as I covered like Boop Boop and Rodgers in the Rodgers episode, since it's Boop Boop Rodgers and Detective Rodgers himself, so their family, so they were both in the same episode. But yeah, the main characters are going to be covered today. I'm going to cover some of the more miscellaneous, characters from the Rodgers series and some of the other series that I've done in another episode. But today's focused on the main characters and their stories and where they've gone, especially Stewart. As you will soon see, or have already seen, that Stewart's come back, depending on when I schedule this. But yeah, Stewart is back. Yeah, again, the adventures of investigator Stewart, the new phase of Stewart in the alternate timeline, the new timeline for Stewart and all that. Yeah. So yeah, let's get Stewart out of the way. Might as well. So Stewart is the once assistant to Detective Rodgers. So basically was the second most important character, and then probably Michael as third, because I was one of the three that originally started it, and now I'm the last remaining, I suppose, because Kim's still around, but she's no longer really keeping the characters of Rodgers and Jack and Blue alive and Boop Boop. So yeah, that's sort of now my thing. They're my characters now, I guess, even though it was sort of a group thing and group's characters. But since group fell apart, I've kept it alive. And yeah, and Kim's starting a new Stewart journeys, I guess. So those characters don't really exist in the same way they once did. So yeah, they're mine now. I keep the memory alive, mainly since they're part of Michael. They're one of the foundations of Michael. Without them, Michael would be nothing. He would have had the development he has. If I had totally ignored Rodgers being canon, kind of what Kim has done, none of that foundation would be there. I can't just forget things. I'm one who always remember things, and I want to keep the memory alive. What is already being written is set in stone for me. These are the foundations of my character. These cannot change, otherwise it changes the very core of Michael, and it changes the very core of my world, and everything that I've created since then, and the story I've created wouldn't have been possible without the original like Rodgers series, so I can't just discard it because it was the very original thing. It's the very beginning pillar. I can't just forget about it because so much had already been built upon that. That's like, I can't just reset and pretend it didn't happen. Like, for me, like, I can't just be like, it doesn't matter, let's reset. For me, like, things do matter. Like, even if they're just characters, like, to some, like, to me, I guess there's something more like they're part of me, they're part of my memories, they're experiences that I enjoyed, and I can't just like throw them off and get rid of them. So yeah, that's why I could never get rid of them. And I'm sure some of you would probably be sick of how much I continue to bring them up, and I will continue to bring them up until the end of my days. So, yeah, you're going to continue to hear about them, even if you're not invested in those characters. Like, but if you've already invested in Michael, like, how can you not be like invested in those ones? Like, even if you're invested with Jimmy, Jimmy's also from Rodgers. Like, he was my original character. Like, during the very first Rodgers thing, like, he is the OG, the OG, true OG. Like, Jimmy has been here since day one of Rodgers. Michael came in later. He may have become my main character and had a lot more time with Rodgers, but Jimmy was the OG, and like his like character could have been forgotten, but I was like, I want to play Halo, so I'm bringing back Jimmy. And history is history, and now I've played like so many mods I can't count exactly, but I know it's like 30 seasons of Jimmy at this point, which is insane. Not obviously on the channel yet because of my insane scheduling, but goddamn. But yeah, a lot has happened. But yeah, Stewart is definitely important. Let's move on to Jack being the least important because they didn't really have too much to do with Michael and didn't really impact Michael's lore as much. Like Detective Jack never really added anything like other than the brief time they were like going to be like a rival company. Like Jack was originally a part of a rival company, but that was never in any of the actual video episodes. That was just a part of our role play before Riku being the first one to record, soon followed by like me and Kim like recording or streaming. In the case of me, unfortunately, you'll never see those like my side for things because the recordings I like deleted. I shouldn't have deleted them. It's an ultimate regret of mine. But I deleted them at the time, like after a while, because back then I wasn't too good with like familiar with editing, and it took me forever to edit things. And nowadays it's easy. It's easy for me. Like But back then, like, I was too overweight and maybe over edited too much. Like, I cut out stuff, but it also was because um, I hadn't yet verified something that will allow me to have my videos over 15 minutes of length, so I had to cut and choose stuff so that my videos were in that 15-minute time frame, whatever. So nowadays I don't need to worry, and I don't over edit things unless I feel like it needs stuff cut out. But these days I'm not too worried about cutting out all the silence, like every like millisecond where there's silence, like there's nothing going on. The conversation has to be flowing constantly, and I'm like, I don't really need that anymore. Now I actually have confidence, and I think I speak a decent rate, and not on my quiet mic anymore, and built up confidence that uh, I don't feel like as pressured to do that sort of over editing that I used to do. I still notice it on some videos that are still coming out today, again, thanks to my insane schedule of how I schedule things. 500 plus scheduled videos, if you would believe it. I did post a video on this once. You probably can find it, but it'd be a fair bit back. But I need to make a follow-up video. I've been saying that I would do that, and I need to actually do that at some point. Just, I like to pair things together. I like to make doubles. I don't know why. Just, it's sort of like a thing of mine, especially since I'm uploading 3 videos a day, and if I only record 2 things, that doesn't cover one whole day. So at this point, like, double videos recording is like a requirement for me, just because, like, I have more than that coming out per day. So yeah, I like to have recordings and do like blocks of them at a time, and do as many as possible. But the day where I'm recording this, I'm probably only going to do 2, which was this one and the last podcast episode with Sky Slayer on the Stanley Parable. Consider checking that one out if you want to. But yeah, today I'm not going to do as much recording, just because it's been a long day for me, if you can't tell. As I'm not the most high energy, but yeah. Yeah. That's just some insight onto how I do things. But yeah. So yeah, double recordings. To sum it up, double recordings usually how I do things. So doing things in evens, it's just sort of one of my things. Maybe it's because of my like autism, like to like organize things, because I like to organize it, but also make it nice and easily structured. So I don't know if it's just autism or me structuring things, but I don't know. It's a mystery even to myself, and I'm the one that is me. So yeah, my mind is a mystery. I mean, I've shown before in the podcast that I am a bit cuckoo crazy. My mind is got random thoughts, but we all got random thoughts. I just choose to share my random thoughts with the internet because I don't care. You can judge me however you want. Like, it doesn't matter to me, it doesn't impact my life. You can like or dislike it, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to continue to do this no matter what. But yeah, moving on to the last character, as I've been off topic for long enough. Um, so yeah, Jack wasn't as important. Stewart's definitely very important, especially being Kim, being like one of my longest friends that I've known. Um, so yeah, and like has inspired me with like doing the animation things because she's done animations. Check out her animations on her channel. Now I have to link her channel later. Remember that, future me. Um, uh, um, uh, um, yeah, Kim's inspired me and um, like I think like Kim was the one that led me in the direction of actually making Michael an SEP guard, MTF guard in the first place. Like I can't remember the conversation exactly just because it happened so long ago, but at the time of like Michael being a cop, like I wonder how I could expand further on this character, like with you guys, like, and I think it was Kim that actually gave me the idea of like, you're a fan of SEP and stuff, why not make him like an SEP guard who could fit with the thing, and like, that's why Michael's a SEP guard and MTF guard. It's because of Kim. Kimmo inspired me to do animation, inspired me to do a lot of things. I mean, Kim drew me the pink spot, and you'll probably see it in the corner of this YouTube video. Um, and you also see on my Twitch, as that's what I use for my Twitch profile, like picture thing. Yeah, that pink spine, as I like to call it, donut, because of red versus blue, because I like red versus blue when it was good being the main thing, when it was good. But I call the image donut. Why did you steal my shotgun? Because he's holding a shotgun. It's like a double barreled shotgun, which there's no double barreled shotguns in um, Halo, but I'll give it a pass because Kim obviously probably doesn't know Halo, I think. Never actually asked. Really should probably ask. Uh, uh, I should do that. Um, but uh, um, I call it that because obviously Sarge and his shotgun is a major thing in Red vs. Blue. So yeah, little donut boy. But obviously for my YouTube, I'm Orange Dimentio. And yeah, I like Dimentio, the half like face sort of thing, like light and darkness, the constant balance between those, which I'm definitely going to do more in the future. Like I think in the future, like at the moment, it's very like the picture has been very much black and white so far. Like there has been some grey elements to my story, but it's been painted like very black and white so far. Like Michael is good and like trying to save things, except for his darker days when he was more of a psychopath. That was more of the grey period, but that didn't last too long, and I've tried to do some like episodes like to bring that back a little bit, like the psychopath Michael that I barely got to touch on, like doing more of Psycho Michael, which I do like a bit. That characterization of Michael, of him being a bit more crazy and of a killer, but following the Foundation orders to the lab. It's very like black and white, like Michael is good, he's trying to save the world. The darkness, the living darkness, is bad. It is corrupting things, it's corrupted multiple realms, and it is everywhere. I did a podcast episode, watch that, but also like I found out some things after doing that podcast episode, like two of the songs that I had linked were by the same person, so no wonder the eyes thing was so similar. But then I found two more things that were kind of living darkness related, as far as I'm aware, like more eyes things, like in a song called God Willing, there's like eyes, whatever. Um, but and it's kind of similar to watching Eyes of the Living Darkness, but also the Hat Man, which is like this sort of like myth, creepypasta sort of thing that apparently people have seen. Like the Hat Man will visit you when you're in like a state of sleep paralysis and watches you. They seem to look like a detective in a trench coat wearing like a big old hat, which I definitely can relate to detectives, but he's usually depicted with white eyes, similar to The Living Darkness. And also another map that I recently played had a creature that was very like darkness like with also white eyes, and the map It Follows on VR chat. So I'm just saying, Living Darkness, it feels like it follows both me and Michael. Me and Michael. If you ever heard that song, you get the reference. Um, but yeah. Um, yeah. I keep getting sidetracked. What was I saying before? Like, um, I, I don't know. But yeah. Uh, yeah. Darkness, man. Living darkness. But yeah. Oh yeah, about light and darkness. So I've painted very like black and white so far, but I want to show that like maybe things aren't as much that way, because like as I've considered light and darkness more like darkness, like as far as I'm aware existed before light, like all there was nothing before everything. light hasn't existed forever. It's kind of an impossibility for it to exist forever. Like light, matter, energy, whatever, all of that has not existed forever. So darkness has been around forever, where light is new. It's been around for potentially a long time, potentially longer than we may think. Like, if the theory is true that it's like a constant cycle of like Big Bangs, like one universe expands, collapse, new universe. But where did the original spark of light come from? If it's been Big Banging forever, where did the original Big Bang happen? Big Bang, sorry. Uh, just speaking a lot. Um, but yeah, Big Bang, need to stop saying Big Bang. Uh, but yeah, if that's been happening forever, like, when was the original? When was the original? So that's why I think darkness existed longer than light. Light is basically an anomaly. Existence is an anomaly. Matter is an anomaly. We technically, by the rules of like existence, probably shouldn't exist, but we do exist. And it's kind of a paradox. I mean, that is life basically. It's one big paradox. Maybe this is why we can never have time travel. It just makes it more paradoxes. We're already one, so a second one probably would not be good. But yeah. So as far as I see it, like light invaded dark. That's what it would seem to the dark. It seems like an invasion, but maybe light didn't have a choice. Maybe light just poof existed, and by some miracle, and it's continued on, and matter and all that has existed. So we deserve a chance to live too, but darkness may have not been happy about that. And that's why one of my beliefs is darkness, the living darkness, it could be out there somewhere. You never know. Multiverse could be real. Obviously, there's no proof so far, but it's a possibility. Basically, as far as I see it, like everything's a 50-50 possibility if you have no information on it. It's a 50-50 between there being a multiverse and there not being a multiverse. We really can't tell. For things like death, though, it's like that's one of the few things that I don't think is 50-50, because science is like there's no afterlife, you die, nothing's left. Where religions are like all the different afterlives and stuff, all the different versions of heavens and hells and in between spaces like limbo and all that. The middle places for the average people, which hopefully, if there is afterlife, hopefully middle. I rather middle than heaven or hell, because heaven's too perfect and hell sucks for being a place of torture. At least I can understand it. or I become the Doomslayer and be like, I'm not going to be tortured forever. I'm going to find some demon magic and consume it. Maybe I become a demon because of consuming demon magic, but I don't care. I become Doomslayer, but my sacrifice is a demon. I become a demon. Doesn't seem too bad to me. Uh, but we don't know these things. We don't know, and we may never know in our lifetime. But back to Blue. I keep getting off Blue. Blue. Finally focus on Blue. But yeah, one last thing before I go back to Blue is, yeah, I think I'm going to make it more, the light and darkness, more balance, more nuance to it than just dark and light. Obviously, the big thing I'm leading towards is that there'll be, I don't know, some grand conclusion to Michael's battle with the living darkness at some point. But I don't think that'll be anytime soon. And I don't know when it would be. A definitely good place to start it would be Alan Wake 2 whenever that comes out. As the Dark Presence is basically the living darkness from my series, and I didn't realize how similar they were until like I played Alan Wake, because I hadn't actually known the story or played Alan Wake or even heard of Alan Wake when I originally started Michael. Like, if it was 2021 me when I had started all this, I would be like, who's Alan Wake? I have no idea who that is. And now I'm like, I love Alan Wake. This story is so much like what I'm telling with my story. It's kind of crazy that my my thing, the living darkness, is so similar to the dark presence. You almost think that I'm like plagiarizing, but no, it's just coincidence. It's coincidence. And plus, like, the living darkness didn't have like the throw objects power like the dark presence until the dark presence in Alan Wake added that on to the law of the living darkness. So yeah. So even though things were similar, not everything was exactly the same. So at least it's not completely plagiarism and won't seem like complete plagiarism, even though it was pretty coincidental. But yeah, Light and Darkness, I want more balance, and I want to expand on that idea, as I feel like that is really a core idea of what I've traded. Like, Michael's ultimate enemy, like, he's had many dangerous enemies, and one like ultimate enemy of like the anomalous arc, I'm gonna call it, where Michael was fighting all the anomalies, the big climax being the anomalous void, being like that big finale. Like, this is God of anomalies. This is the battle to determine the fate of the world. All of Michael's allies, well, not all of them, but a good chunk of like Michael's allies are here to help him beat this like thing that has been manipulating them and like led this war to happen. Like, and led many anomalies to kill each other, so it doesn't have to worry about anomalies coming for it to kill it, so that when time comes that the anomalies have died out enough that the anomalous void can just kill off the last few anomalies and basically have complete control without consequence. And that's quite scary, like if the anomalous void had won. But of course it didn't, and Michael won the day. But Michael's ultimate enemy that has been building up over time is the darkness, the living darkness, the persistent one, the one that he can't get rid of despite all his efforts to do so. But enough about darkness and light and dark and multiverse and possibilities of life. Finally, Blue, Detective Blue. So let's get on to Blue, who is one of the detectives of the MD Detective Agency, and he's the one that discovered the void. Others are familiar with the void as it's being found out through the series that one other person that looks similar to Blue, the collector, knows about the void. He also has like blue eyes, which there's sort of a theme of blue and the void, and in my series later on, kind of spoilers here, but the living blue is the connections through the universe. The living blue is the reason for places like the void and like the abyss, another one similar to the void, and also other places that connect realms or multiverses. So Zen from the Half-Life universe would also be one of those realms that work off the living blue, same as such places as liminal space. The back rooms, a place Michael's been to many times and for a while was definitely cursed with going to the back rooms, but I eventually stopped doing back rooms sort of videos because I had run dry on ideas. There's still going to be like one final one, like whenever Jock Anderson returns, Michael's uncle, will be like the absolute finale of the back rooms, but I still don't have ideas yet. So just wait for that. But yeah, Blue, the living blue is the connections through the world. So Detective Blue being blue in a blue suit, blue eyes, blue hair, it is the perfect character and that perfect representation of it and the void I've expanded on since Blue, the original Detective Blue, aptly named his actual username of who did it was Detective Blue, did the character. Detective Blue, who did Detective Blue, it's a little bit confusing, but Blue, the person, not the character, he set up the foundations of the void, the basic, very basic foundations, and I've built upon them and made the void my own thing and expanded to it. So yeah, Blue's very important. Jack, not the most important, but still important, and Stewart. But yeah, those are the characters, and yeah, um, I think that'll be it. I've spoke long enough about them, and if you want to know more about them, go watch videos. More coming out in the future, like Richard's gonna meet Jack and then Blue, so more is to come of those characters in the alternate timeline. But for now, that will be it. And thank you all for watching. Until next time, peace.